So it's June the 7th, 2025, and today we're at Little Rock Central High School, the site of the 1957 integration crisis. The Little Rock Nine were 9 African American students who were the first to integrate Little Rock Central High School. The Board of Education, in response to the 1954 Brown versus Board of Ed Supreme Court decision, had made a plan to integrate their public schools. By 1957, it was time for this plan to come to fruition. These were the first pioneering students who had the courage to be the pioneers who would integrate a mostly white school in Little Rock in 1957. These 9 American heroes during the Clinton years, and this display is at the Clinton Library in Little Rock. During the Clinton years, these 9 American heroes were granted Congressional Gold Medals. Ernest Green, Elizabeth Eckford, Jefferson Thomas, Terrence Roberts, Carlotta Walls McNear, Minnie Jean Brown, Gloria Ray Carlmark, Thelma Mothershed, and Melba Patillo Beals. We're going to move now to the museum at the National Historic Site, and the top statement just shocked me, and I was grateful to read the statement below. So basically, in the wake of the 1954 Brown versus Board of Ed Topeka decision, Little Rock votes on a plan to integrate their public schools. A few years later, as this program gets voted on and approved, it's 1957, it's September, it's time to start the program. So the first day of school comes, and the Little Rock 10 are warned about coming to school. The 10 of them arrive on the second day of school and are turned away. One student immediately makes the decision to go back to Horace Mann High. He's not in for this. The Little Rock Nine stay home because of the threats of violence, and ultimately it goes into the courts. The courts decide that integration must move forward and that the governor cannot use the National Guard, and so the National Guard leaves. But then, on the 23rd of September, the crowd grows violent, and that really forces Eisenhower to make a decision. He uses the Insurrection Act, and he activates the 101st Airborne to integrate the school. He also nationalizes the National Guard of Arkansas. And on the 25th of September, they have their first full day of integration in Little Rock. By December, Minnie Jean Brown has had enough, and she goes back to Horace Mann. This so impacted the community of Little Rock that they actually voted to shut down the high schools. That's a very oversimplified way of describing what happened, but that's basically how it went down. They voted to shut down the schools rather than allow integration to go forward. So the 58-59 school year is known as the lost year. So here we are at Little Rock Central High School. This is where it all happened. This is where 200 people or more gathered and really had a problem with integration. Visitor Center is over there. We're on the beautiful grounds of Little Rock's Central High School. I think it said it was Greek Revival architecture. Flagpole. There's the building proper. It's got a 2,000 seat auditorium. I think it said 200 classrooms. As you can see, this was just a beautiful day and beautiful architecture. It was a beautiful visit. It was a hallowed ground. It was I was glad to know that this was a National Historic Site. I'm glad to know that students still attend. Joanne and I had a really meaningful visit here. Ambition, personality, opportunity, preparation. Little Rock High School. So as we look back from Little Rock Central High School to the Historic Site Visitor Center and Museum, printed on the wall there is the 14th Amendment. Its affirmation by the Supreme Court in the 1954 Brown versus Board of Ed of Topeka led to a series of events which caused the white citizens of Little Rock to create a crisis regarding integration of their public schools. This crisis ultimately led the President of the United States to invoke the Insurrection Act and to nationalize the National Guard of the state of Arkansas. It's amazing how relevant these issues remain today and how even after all this time, these matters are still not settled. This was a powerful and reflective visit for me. It made me really reflect on the status of our nation right now and where things are. As I move to close, I left this bit of humor on purpose. Enjoy.
Even here, this school, this is clearly their lunch bag and water bottle lost and found. That's so funny.
So if you've gotten this far, it means you've, I guess, enjoyed this video on my visit to Little Rock Central High School and the Little Rock 9. Thank you so much for watching.